unmute your
Oh,
mic.
yeah, I have.
Yeah?
All right, finally got it to work.
Yeah. How you going?
I'm good, thank you. Thanks for having me. It's nice
Yeah.
to see you all. Where are you, Trevor? Behind the camera.
Am I?
Are you there? Cool.
Yeah. This is group 2 you're talking. Can you see me? Oh, you can. This is group
Yeah.
2, yeah, of our students. We got a Saturday school and we got 2 groups in the weekdays. So I want you to have a word with these lot and actually tell them about yourself, where you come from, and what you're doing now, stuff like that. How we met up and how we started.
Yeah. All right. So, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Ziggy, and so a little bit about myself. I'm an animator by trade, and I'm also an ex-student of Trevor. So I work in the industry since 2014, mainly as an animator and tech animator and in the field for games and for film production. So my career started in early 2014, but before that, I of course went to college, where I met Trevor, and that's where my development in arts and animation background started. So this is where I developed the discipline and the persistence to continue, because I always wanted to do art, and animation was the right way to go for it. Hey, Gavin.
You there, Gav?
Hi, yeah, I'm here.
Oh, how you doing?
Okay, not too long woke up.
You lazy.
Oh, got out of bed anyway.
Yeah, Ziggy's just given us a talk about his journey. So, do you want to carry on, Ziggy?
Yeah. So, where was I? Yeah, college. So after college, really, I went on to university. This is the place where I specialized further into the field, and there's many places that you can go to. Sorry, pardon me. So yeah, university is where you specialize and develop the skill further for the job market. Really, that's I think this is where you guys are right now, and it's a great place to be because that's where you meet the most interesting people. That's where you're going to meet people for the rest of your life, probably, and you might actually have to work together as well in the future. So the goal of such education is to filter out the noise and develop contacts for the future. And there's quite a lot of places that one can end up with after doing visual arts, and it can go from entertainment to medical, to animation, to science. It's a large field, really. But the learning curve of the industry is quite steep, and it requires intention, determination, and adaptation. So in animation, intention is the most important aspect, because that gives reason to everything. It gives reasons to your characters, to your stories, to everything that exists in visual arts. Determination is important because it helps you go through the grind and get through failing. And people fail all the time in this industry, and I do as well, but you have to be able to learn from that and keep going. And adaptation is very important because technology keeps changing all the time, as well as client opinion changes all the time. So you have to be able to adapt there. So in terms of my career, I've worked in several studios for the last 9 years, big and small. Currently, I'm in a mid-sized game development studio in Germany. We're making video games for consoles, for PC, probably any kind of platform you could think of. Not mobile, but we used to do mobile games, but not anymore. We're doing more serious stuff now. So, but this industry is very young and it's very rapidly changing, hence the adaptation. A few things that are important when going on this path is trust and skill. Trust is probably as important as skill, because without trust, you will not get a job, and without skill, you will not able to do the job or deliver the quality. The opposite is also as important, or it can happen. Without skill, you may not get the job, but without trust, you would lose the job. So yeah, trust is needed to convince your team basically that you can hit the ground running with minimal training, and that you can be there, and that you can be available for communication and for timing reasons, for budgeting, and just so your team can trust you and you can trust your team. And skill is obviously required to deliver high quality work. And yeah, go on,
Ziggy,
Trevor.
I gave you some storyboards.
Yeah.
Do you have any comments on them, what you've seen so far? Because what do you think? There we go.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, I have some comments. Just let me quickly open the place where I have them. Do you want me to go over them all? Yeah, I'll go over them quickly one by one.
Well, just yeah. Go on.
So one thing that I noticed in, whoops, hold on. I'm gonna just going to demount the tab. Yeah, all good. So the first thing I noticed with a lot of the storyboards that you guys did is the story is very flat. What I mean by that is it starts with a 0 and a 1. It starts with 0 and it goes to 1, but it's always, usually a lot of the stories are positive, and there's no curvature between the 0 and the 1. The usual rule of thumb is you have to start with something like, I'm having a really good day, and then I'm having a really bad day in the middle of a story, and then you get out of trouble and you have a good day again. For example, whoops, where is it? Okay, so for example, the Merita perfume. A girl wakes up, does some makeup, goes out in the street, goes to work, gets around her day.
Hold on. Ziggy, which one are we talking about?
Yeah.
Can you share your screen?
The perfume story, yeah. Hold on.
Can you share the screen?
Let's see if I can do that. I'm not sure how to do it in
it's not
in
all right. Yeah, just carry on. I'm going to the toilet. 1 minute.
Oh yeah, there it is. Share screen.
You got it?
Yeah. Can everybody see that? Nod your heads if you can. All right. Okay, so we have this one. And it starts off well. Wake up, brush your teeth, do the makeup, have some perfume. It's a basic pitch for selling perfume, right? And then some guy crashes the car because I guess it grabs the attention of the girl. But the stimulation there is actually the look of the girl, not the smell. So it doesn't exactly work. So what needs to change there is, okay, start the day in a maybe in a down mood where the girl doesn't actually feel good about herself, and perfume is the right stimulation to change that mood. And the last shot probably shouldn't be about guys crashing the car, but a more intimate interaction between two people. Because usually when guys catcall other girls on the streets, it's because of the looks. But I think it should be a different ending. The same story can be applied, but you need the up and down. You need the arcs in there. For example, the next one, the energy drink. It starts well with an athlete doing a run. Then you have the coach presenting the drink. The drink transforms. The guy drinks it. So it's all good. It's all positive. There's no bad day, good day, bad day scenario. It's only going from good to good. So you have only one color there. There's no black and white. You need the gray areas in there in order to make it interesting. Have you guys seen the advert for Snickers, for example? It begins by a guy being so hungry that he's a monster because he's so hungry and it makes him angry, right? So at the beginning he's a monster and he's agitated and he's angry and furious at everybody because his mental state is so crazy due to the hunger. But as soon as somebody hands him a Snickers, he takes a bite and he transforms into a human. So it goes from bad to really, really bad and up and then down up to good. Yeah. And it has humor in it because it has a monster in there and it has weird human behavior, but it works because there is a curvature in the story. It starts with bad, it gets even worse before it gets really good. And the same could be applied in this story. The guy, maybe he's terrible at running or he's underperforming. But as soon as the energy drink kicks in, he becomes bold. Right, next. Westerlies. So this one is about a phone app to buy some presents for the kids. Same problem. It should start with a mother struggling to find gifts and not having a solution. Instead of just, okay, let's make some dinner, let's call the kids, and then start wondering, okay, what could I do? The problem should be bigger. And the problem is solved by an app developer developing a market for that.
You there, Zig?
Protein shake, the same. Yeah.
What protein shake? What are you talking about? Ah, I remember this.
Huh.
What you got to say about this?
No, to load. The protein shake, it's the same problem as with the energy drink. It needs to start bad before it gets good. Same with this. I was telling them about the Snickers ads. Do you know, Trevor? Do you know the Snickers ad where the guy is so angry and hungry that he's a monster, and then until
Oh,
somebody
yeah,
hands him
yeah,
a
yeah,
Snickers and he
yeah,
says, and he takes a bite, turns
Yeah.
into a human.
Yeah, it turns back to
So it
himself.
has that arc.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah, so it's the
they
same
need to
thing here.
jump on that.
Because now it's just the guy getting up and yeah.
All right.
Right. There's this one.
What's
There's
that?
one with a rabbit.
Oh,
Which
yeah,
was
yeah.
interesting.
Talk to me about that one.
Because there's several things I can say about this one. Okay, so it starts with a street view, rabbits, a lady, guy with red paint, guy in red. Okay, what goes on now? Rabbit jumps down there. Cars are going by. Okay, here's where the problem is. So I went over this whole storyboard yesterday, and I had a look. And the problem is, why is the rabbit there? There's no reason for the rabbit to be there. Yeah. What's the stimulation for the rabbit to be there? Is he looking for food? Is he looking for water? Because animal behavior usually is different to human behavior. The animals usually avoid people or cars. So the rabbit needs an intention.
Yeah.
Why would the rabbit cross the road?
Does it have to be a rabbit, Zig?
Sorry?
Does it have to be a rabbit?
No.
It
can be any animal you pick. Anything that's local. It could be a fox, it could be a cat. But the problem is that I don't see an intention for the rabbit to cross the road. What's the stimulation? Is it, did the rabbit see something he can eat? An energy source. Because crossing the road as a rabbit is really dangerous, right? And then
because they know that.
And then what's happening? And then what's happening with the painter guy with the red paint? Because it seems that he's doing his job and the lady passes by, something happens, she gets some paint spilled on her, she gets distracted maybe, and then the crook sees an opportunity to snatch her purse. So he does that, and as he's running, he gets run over by a car, and then the rabbit gets confused because he got called a different name. But yeah, the problem is there needs to be an intention for the rabbit, and then what happens next? Because now the guy is on the floor, and the purse can be retrieved. So a woman, the lady's behavior would be to retrieve her valuable. What happens to the guy? What happens next is a chain reaction of events. What happens to the driver? Does he hit and run out of panic, or does he stop?
Yeah.
So
I think, Ziggy, that's where we kind of came to a standstill on this one, because me personally, I couldn't see how to wrap it up, or if there should be more intention or what. So that's why I was asking you for a bit of help on this one. What do you reckon?
The first thing I would try to fix is the intention of the rabbit, because he can stay there as an observer. I mean, from my personal point of view, right? It's I think this is what I would do is the rabbit can stay there, but it may not be any kind of rabbit. Maybe it's a special rabbit. Maybe it's a god in disguise who's punishing criminals. For example, he sees this situation developing. Yeah, so the rabbit still stays on the trash can. He doesn't move. He doesn't cross the street. He's just looking at the crazy world of humans. You know what happens? Someone tries to take advantage of another person, and that's unfair. So the rabbit could stay there and cause this accident to happen to the crook, and then the crook gets caught and sent to jail. Or maybe it turns on itself, the situation flips, and ironically the driver is to blame because he ran over a person, and maybe they're both to blame. So you can play with irony here.
Yeah, I think so. What was I gonna say? It's a tricky one, this one, isn't it? Because do you understand the idea of monism? This a sequence of events.
The chain reaction of events.
Yeah. So can't that be extended more? And
oh yeah, of course.
Yeah. And what about the fact that it's all done in one shot?
That's it's a bit boring because you need different cuts. For example, one shot can work, but I don't think it would work in this situation because you have several elements of interest.
Yeah.
For example, this is a human world, right? This is a street. This is where people live. Animals are never usually there. So you could start with a close-up on the rabbit because it's something out of the ordinary. You don't need to focus on the people. You don't have to focus on the car. You know this environment, right? But why is the rabbit there? Why is the animal there? What's the purpose of it? So you can start with a close-up. And then after the close-up on the rabbit, you give the audience like a breather, a wide shot of the entire environment. Okay, this is where we are. This is an establishing shot. After that, you cut to some action. A lady walking by the painter, and there's something happening here by the wall. Ignore the rabbit because the rabbit should stay on the can. We are not focusing on the rabbit, but we're focusing on the action between the three people here by the wall, and that is high density information over there, because from there on, the guy mugs the lady, takes the purse and runs away with it. But that triggers a chain reaction of, okay, he gets run over, the guy maybe panics and drives away. He drives into another truck, or he drives into a building catches fire. The whole chaos spirals out of control.
Yeah, I get it.
But yeah.
Yeah, I get where your train of thought, and I think that will work. I'm just trying to explain to them how you can stretch out and extrapolate a very simple idea. It may be, when you start off, it's just A and B. And then when you start stretching it out, you actually realize it's got C, D, E, and F, and all the rest of it in there. But it's how you play on that. And I think you're right here. This needs some edits, close up, and it will help it to flow more better. What do you think?
Yeah, exactly. It's you can add humor to it. You can add
definitely
small details that will make it interesting to watch. Because right now it's just a very typical human situation that happens, but there has to be a twist. Yeah, you need a twist to the story.
It's very linear, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. But at this level,
But there's a story there. There's a story there that you can do.
definitely. But it's just how we're gonna tell it. You know what I mean? To get the most out of it. But there's something in there, but it just needs to be explored a bit more on a certain level. Yeah. So we'll have to look at that and bang our heads together. Yeah. But thanks for those suggestions. I was gonna open the floor to the students for questions and answers, a little session on that. But I wanted to ask you, how is the world of working remotely going? Is it expanding or is it imploding?
Yeah, it's definitely expanding. It's the pandemic, as bad as it was around the world, has actually opened the floodgates to remote work. So I used to move around countries for work. I would work in England, then that was over. I moved to France. That was all before pandemic. So if you find a studio or a job where you want to work, you would have to relocate physically there, and that is a lot of work and money and stress, and to me at least it was, and to a lot of people that I know, it was really stressful to move around. But after the pandemic, we said, okay, well, we can't move around, let's find a solution to actually work from home, and that expanded into working from anywhere, as long as you have the communication tools to do it and your team trusts you to be there available, to be there on time, to be there for communication and meetings.
Hold on, did you say on time?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Really? Is that important?
Yeah, people get fired for that.
Really? I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I thought you could just breeze in and breeze out anytime you want.
No. Once you're dealing with your team and with directors and team leads, they take notice of that. And
no, Zig, I thought you as a junior can just breeze in anytime you want. Isn't it like that?
That's the worst thing to do as a junior.
Okay. So you're saying you're gonna get your head chopped off if you do that?
Yeah, very early. Because it doesn't invoke trust.
Really? But I've been saying that for 6 weeks now.
Yeah, you need to build up discipline for that.
Build it? Does it take 6 weeks?
Good question. It shouldn't. It's a determination thing. If you really want to do this, then you're not gonna be late for that. And
no, these lot think they can do it like that.
No, it doesn't work like that in the real world.
Really?
Because you're responsible for your team, and your team is responsible for you. So.
All right, Zig, let's take on a few questions.
But yeah, remote work is great.
Thanks for that. Are you working remotely at the moment?
Yeah, I'm working from home.
You may wish to stop sharing.
Yes, good idea.
Zig, what type of software are you using these days?
We're using a lot of software. So we're using Autodesk Maya, Autodesk Motion Builder. We're using Unreal Engine. We're using Substance Painter, Designer, Photoshop. Some people use Blender. That's a free modeling software. That's actually a really big software for everything, for rigging, animation, modeling, compositing, all sorts of things that you want to do on it. But for games, We're using Unreal Engine as well.
Unreal
It's a massive package that, yeah.
Yeah, I've noticed. I've had a look at it, and it looks the business. All right, Zig, I wanted to open
Yeah,
up.
it's very powerful, yeah.
Yeah, I wanted to open up the floor to see if they've got any questions. Is that all right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Fire away. Yeah, there's a microphone, so that you can't hear that. Yeah.
My name is Takla. Can you
Hi.
hear me?
Yes.
Put that flag out.
My name is Takla, and I wanna ask you, what was the challenge when you started working as an animator?
Trevor, can you repeat that? I heard
Uh,
something, but not everything.
Yeah. He's asking you, what was the major challenges when you started working as an animator?
Yeah, the first is the okay, so there are several challenges actually. First is communication with clients, and understanding what people want, because you can work for a studio or you can do it freelance. Where freelancing is where you have several clients, or one or several clients at the same time, and you're just working for multiple clients at the same time. The problem with that is getting to know what people actually want from you, because a client could approach you and say, yeah, I want a 30-second movie about a car tire, but they give you no context. And so it's really, the intention is unclear, the vision is unclear. Vision is the most important thing. You need to understand the vision, but the client also needs to deliver that vision to you. So if that communication fails, the work is going to fail. So it's more of a soft skill problem between you and the client. There's also, of course, skill challenges, like the learning curve with software, bottlenecks in the software, but you work those out as the more you use the software, the better you get at it. But yeah, the biggest challenges is actually communicating between the teams, getting to know what people want, and getting the right output. Because if you don't have the final vision on paper, not just in your head, on paper, I mean everything in detail
Not in your
on
head.
paper. No,
Why can't
you
it
don't
stay in
work.
your head?
You don't know what's in somebody's head, right? You
Oh,
can't read
really?
minds.
So you're saying they should
Everything,
put it down on paper?
everything needs to be planned out second by second on paper.
And
Otherwise your final output is going to look very different to what you expect, and the client what the
but
client expects.
you were one of them culprits.
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
you do my head in.
It's a necessary evil, and well, it's not necessarily evil. People who love drawing actually can do really good storyboards, and storyboard is one of the most important part of any visual art, any motion picture. It's you start with a script and then you get to a storyboard, but if your storyboard is insufficient, then you can't really work with it. You will have so much back and forth with your directors and your clients that you will do more problem solving than actual work.
Okay. So you've gone around in your journey, and you're coming back to what I told you 20 odd years ago.
Yeah.
Mhm.
No, it's we do it every day.
All right. Okay.
It's like we don't even think about it. It's just like breathing. We have to get out everything on paper before we actually get to 3D or production.
You ever tried to explain anything that was in your head?
All the time, but it doesn't work, does it? Because
Um,
unless you find a duplicate copy of yourself in the world that understands and knows everything about what's in your head, it doesn't really translate because it's based on interpretation. One person will interpret your ideas completely different than you are. That's why pen and paper is a universal medium to translate those ideas into vision.
So your head, don't trust it.
No.
No. All right. All right. Who's got anything else to say to him? Go on.
Hello. Thanks for sharing us. My question is, what, in your opinion, what qualities does leader should have?
Trevor, can you repeat that?
He's asking you what qualities should an animator have?
Right. Observation is one of the most important qualities because everything you sort of learn in terms of human motion and motion in general comes from observation. So, because you need to observe what's human behavior, what's animal behavior, what's the intention behind that. So observation, then you have drawing. You need to know drawing. You need to be able to draw. Even if you don't continue with it, you have to have that as a basis of your background, because for animators you need to be able to do really good posing. Key poses in storyboards are a driving factor of a character development and character motion and intention. So observation, drawing, and a third quality in animation is probably also one of the most important, is intention. Everything has to have an intention. So you need to think about why is your character doing that specific action? What's behind, what's the subtext of that character? Every character has to have a need or a want in the story. So intention gives reason to your characters, and then observation allows you to do good motion, and drawing allows you to do good posing. And everything in between that, like timing, spacing, all the animation principles, you're going to learn that as you go. But the three most important is intention, observation, and drawing, posing, in my opinion. Different animators have slightly different variations of those pillars, but for me, those are the three.
Who else?
Yeah, go ahead.
Easy, it's now, in the forum, sharing your candidates.
Right. You ready?
Yeah, louder.
Easy, can you hear me? I just want to ask you that, we understand that the industry is quite big and there are quite some specializations in the industry, whether it's visual effects or animation or modeling and stuff. So I want to know in what area do you specialize and how do you go about in choosing specific.
Trevor, what was the last bit after the industry is quite big?
Yeah, he says he wants to know in what area do you specialize in and what category. So what are you?
So I started as an animator and tech animator, but currently I'm doing motion capture, and I'm. Do you know what motion capture is, by the way?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's a digital.
Ziggy, I think only a limited few know what motion capture is, so tell us, what is
Yeah,
motion?
so motion capture is like a digital representation of human motion. If you look it up on the internet, it's basically very complex and expensive system that captures motion of an actor, of a real human actor in the digital space. And that happens by having several cameras in the stage, in the set, like it could be in a classroom like yours, for example, and a person gets into a suit with some reflective markers. It looks quite funny, but the technology is very cool. And what happens during recording is a person is doing a dance, and that dance is reflected and it's being recorded on the computer. And motion capture is used widely on films and games, in advertisement, in any kind of motion not motion graphics, but visual media in the industry. But it depends on the vision. So currently, I'm building a motion capture set in our studio in Germany, and I'm working with motion capture data. So I'm the operator. I'm the builder. I'm also dealing with estimations and budgets for, okay, we can build this system and we can build a bigger one and a bigger one, because the studio needs to know about the plan. So I'm a motion capture guy right now, which is also animation, but it's a different branch of animation, because you can have traditional animators who are basically keyframe animators. They do everything by hand, or they draw, or they do everything by hand digitally. Or you have motion capture operators, animators, who clean up and work with motion capture data. These are two very different fields, but the root is animation.
Okay. Any more questions? Huh? Is that you're asking me or you're asking him? Who do you think you should ask?
Can you comment on my storyboard?
Which one is it?
Quest for Peace and Unity.
Ah, yeah. Okay. So, okay, so it starts with Africa greets and introduces her beloved children, and then you have several characters that represent, I guess, the different corners of African region, the continent, right? The issue there is, it's very flat. You need to represent something dark to have something bright. You know, light and darkness go. There's no light without darkness, and there's no darkness without light. Currently, you only have light in your storyboard, but you cannot have a story just with one color. You need an offset there. So what I would suggest is, so it looks a lot like a children's TV show that you could run on in the morning for the kids, as an educational program, you know. But I think you need to show more of what is the current reality and how you can get from the current reality to your vision, because you as an artist, you have a vision, right? That's why you made the storyboard. But I think your storyboard is different from what the reality is in the world. You know, there's conflict and there's good and bad things happening. So I would suggest that you go from good to bad and up to good. So think about what you can insert in between between the 0 and the 1. How you can make it interesting, because now it's.
Do you understand what he's saying? Yeah, you can't just have peace. There has to be some kind of conflict. You get it? That's what's missing. Everything is just peace. Yeah? Did I say that to you the other day? Ah, and now he's saying that to you. Yeah? So this idiot said that to you, and this idiot is saying it to you. So what do you reckon? So have a think about it, yeah? Yeah. So does that answer your question?
Yeah, thank you.
All right, so who's got anything else to say? Yeah, are you gonna now and expect him to hear you? Are you gonna be brave? Come up here, do a set. Sup here.
Hi, how are you?
Hi.
Have you seen my African continent piece? You know, the globe.
He's talking about the lion. Ziggy, the one with the lion.
The lion.
Yeah, there's a lion on Africa.
Sorry, you cut out there for a moment. There's a storyboard with a lion.
Yeah, in the shape of Africa.
Oh,
You got it?
in the same storyboard.
Yeah, not in the same one, in a different one.
In the different one.
Yeah.
Mm,
I don't know if did I send it? I don't know. I was in
is
a
it
rush.
Nebiat?
Who's that?
No, I don't think you sent it.
Ah,
It's in a zip file, that's what they are, it's not a PDF.
she said they're in a zip file. You're making it hard work
Oh,
when you could just speak up. You see it?
yeah, I can. Well, I'm downloading the zip file, so I'll take a look in a moment.
Yeah.
If you have any more questions, let me know as I'm opening the file.
Have you got any work, Ziggy? Show us anything.
Do I have any work?
Yeah.
we are currently just beginning to develop a project, like a new game. So unfortunately, right now there is no work, extra work that I can give around, because we are not even in production.
You haven't got any work.
I have got work, yes.
Well, that's
I've
what we
got
want to
plenty of
see.
work
Don't
for
let me
myself.
come down there. What's the matter with you?
Oh, work to show, you mean?
Yes, Ziggy. Work to show us. Don't you start as well.
How can shall I drop you a link?
You can't share
I
the
think
screen.
that's the best.
Yeah, all right. So have you?
Well, I think the frame rate is gonna be bad.
Oh, okay. All right, let's send us a link and I'll share it amongst them. Yeah. Have you unzipped
Yeah,
it?
you can have a look after the call, because
Yeah.
yeah, hold on. My PC is struggling a bit today, but
Your PC.
yeah. Do you have any more questions as I'm going through unzipping?
So I have a question. What was your learning?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. What was your learning path after completing uni? How did you build on what you have known previously? Like, what would you recommend to us? Like to build on the basic things we learned here.
Did you hear that, Zig?
What do I recommend?
Where do you recommend, or how do you recommend them to keep learning after they finish on this course? Because we're only just doing a introduction, really.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know what I mean? So
Mhm.
he's asking, what could they do next? What do you reckon?
If so, absolutely keep drawing, keep developing stories. Depends actually what you want to do. Do you want to get into film? Do you want to get into games or web or advertisement? Depends on what kind of opportunities you have. But with remote work, it's become quite easy nowadays to go in many directions. However, you should, as soon as you feel confident with your skill, which might take some time, you have to keep working on your skill. If you don't, you will lose it. So keep practicing, keep doing small animations, keep growing your portfolio, because that's actually you, that's your work. And then just start applying as early as you can, actually, because you will approach a lot of closed doors, but one of the doors out of 100 will open, and you'll think like, oh my God, you actually got into something, and somebody recognized you, and that's one of the best feelings that you can get out of the out of working here, and it's just gonna get better from there. But if you stop, then you stop. You know, it's you have to, after this course, you have to naturally progress and develop into, okay, so once you have the basics, you have to think about what you want to do. Actually, what do you like doing? And then look for those sort of opportunities of work, because that will grow your skill even more.
Ziggy. Zig.
Yes.
What I wanted to ask you, can you come back in the next few weeks and see how the development's going with their animations and give us some feedback and whatever?
So from next week, I'm traveling.
Really? Where you going?
I'm going back home, and then I'm going to Asia in December.
All
so
right.
you're gonna have to send me something by email.
All right. That's all right.
That I can deal with.
How long are you going for, Zig?
A month.
A month.
Yeah.
You might just catch the tail end of us when you get back. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. We'll work something out.
Yeah, I'm back in mid-January.
All right.
Okay, I have the storyboard open with the lion. So it starts with a planet Earth, Africa continent lion as a line. Oh, okay, and then there's some feet. And then there's laser eyes. Okay. All right, cool. Background turns black. A human form comes out. A human with a lion head, and then steps out. Okay, a dove. Huh. I'm not sure what's going on in that storyboard.
Well, he's talking about peace, the peace again, peace for Africa, and the dove,
Yeah.
or pigeon, is symbolizing peace. But again,
Yeah,
I think he's missed out the idea of no peace first before you do get peace, or you know, somewhere along the line, the conflict. To me, that's what's missing there. What do you reckon?
Yeah, yeah, it needs a counterbalance.
Do you understand what he's talking about? Yeah. So, to prove that he doesn't know what he's talking about, do one with a conflict and do one without a conflict and see how they compare, and you'll be able to work it out for yourself. But I agree with him, it needs a conflict somewhere in there, and the peace is the obvious resolution. But
And how
why?
you get there as well.
Yeah, exactly. But why would you have peace without war? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, there's always black and white.
There's no need for it, is there? It's just existence.
Yeah.
I
Also,
think, yeah.
yeah.
Go on.
No, something that I wanted to tell everybody is when writing these stories, when writing any kind of script, you have to write what you know. That is the best creative process. If you write about space cowboys and Star Wars without having any sort of physical context to it, it's gonna be a mediocre story that will be forgotten the next minute, because there's loads of those out there. What makes the difference is writing what you know. Anything from your life. It could be something ordinary and you can turn it into something extraordinary, because you are the only person who knows all the details about a particular story that happened to you on that particular day that nobody else does. And so you can make something as simple as going to the shop an extraordinary story, because this and this and this and this happened on the way, and it ended with everything fitting back into its place together. But it makes a lot of sense to write what you know rather than what you don't know.
I agree with you. So a lot of these stories could have been turned around had they included themselves in it somewhere. And when I say themselves, I don't mean physically, I mean something that they can associate with in some kind of way.
Yeah, something that you know personally.
Yeah, I agree. But, you know,
like I would never know what it's like to grow up in Africa, but I know perfectly well what it's like to grow up in Eastern Europe, and what happens on the day and what is interesting about life over there. You know, I could write my own story about growing up in a particular continent, like in Eastern Europe, but I could never even write about growing up in a different continent because I have no experience there. So my story, writing about growing up somewhere else would be completely boring, because it would just not be true.
Yeah, I get you. Right, that's an important point. I was coming to that later with you lot because I just wanted you to get started. Because as you know, on your first animation, Zig, a lot of questions come up and a lot of people start questioning themselves. Is it possible to do this? And a lot of doubts creep in. So before we got on that, we just needed to get them going. But it's good that you brought it up now, because it's good information for them to have. And what he's trying to say to you, like me as an artist, I don't make up anything. That's too abstract for me. I paint from life what I see. Do you understand? I don't have to make up nothing and go into that headache. Yeah? And it's the same with you for your stories. There's one with a mother thinking about children. But I know that person is not a mother. So why couldn't it be a story about just yourself trying to buy some stuff for people online? Why does it have to be a mother? Do you know what I mean? Now, we're not saying it's wrong or it's right. We're just saying to you, if you draw on your experiences, you can make it more interesting.
Yeah, because you're gonna know the struggles of that experience
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah, definitely. All right. Wow. Huh?
So yeah, if we have,
we're
yeah.
coming to the end of it now. So who's got a final question? He just now answered that, didn't he? He said he was going to give us a link. He said he was going to give us a link. Yeah. So who's got a question?
Yeah, thanks for reminding
No,
me.
not me, him. Him.
You are talking about the remote work. What is that mean?
She wants you to explain remote working. What is it all? What does it mean? They're not quite sure.
So
You there, Zig?
it's where you work from home instead from an office. You, yeah, hello?
No.
Yes, intelligent.
All right. He's cutting out remote working. You're working from home.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah. I was just going to explain it quickly because he cut
Yes.
out. Remote working is working from home.
Yeah, so
Okay, go on.
yeah, so it's working from home instead of physically working from an office. Or you don't have to work from home. In some cases, you can work from a hotel or or from an internet cafe. There are digital nomads out there nowadays which move to countries and they just like to sit in cafes with their laptop and work from a cafe. That is also possible with communication tools and really good internet connection, because what I'm doing basically is I'm connecting from home to a computer at the office, and everything that I'm doing is being done on the computer at the office. So I'm just sending a signal, but I don't have to physically go to the office.
Yeah, what he's saying, you could be wherever you are in the world and work for a company wherever in the world. That's what remote working is. So you don't have to physically be in New York to work. You could be in Ethiopia and working for somebody in America. Yeah. The only thing
Yeah,
that limits you is your skills. Yeah. So you have to be able to be up to their standard. That's what it is. Yeah.
Yes, intelligent.
All right, Ziggy. What's that?
There is.
What's that?
This is him.
Oh, that's the link. All right, so we got your link. We'll have a look at that afterwards. But
yeah.
Zig.
Yeah, look at it afterwards because I have to go back to work now.
Yeah, all right then. So we'll keep the link going and I'll talk to you later on. Thanks for your help. And thanks for giving us the time and talking to us. It's been very useful. And I hope it's been inspiring for our learners. Yeah, so thank you for your time and I'll catch up with you later on. Yeah. All right, Zig.
Thanks for having me.
All right, cheers. I'll see you later.
Thank you. Bye.
All right, see ya. Gav,
Yeah,
yeah, did you catch all of that?
yeah, I did. I'm glad that I actually joined you. I hadn't, wasn't sure I'd be able to.
Okay.
But there was a great deal which came out of that and which I learned from myself. And what I thought was that a lot of what Ziggy said could be applied to any field, and it can be applied to life.
Yeah.
You know, things like intention, observation, and drawing may seem specific to animation, but it can be applied anywhere. Planning on paper is really important as well. There's a saying that if you fail to plan, you plan to fail.
Ooh,
So that's something which I think we could all remember.
okay.
As a storyteller, I like the idea, the reminder that stories aren't flat, that it's about a situation which changes from good to bad to good again, and so on. And you know, what he was saying about having a story with many colors rather than just one color. Again, that's something that we need to reflect on and apply. And I like the idea too about remembering that we've got to tell stories about ourselves, where we live, the people we know, because that's what's interesting, especially in a global situation where coming from somewhere in particular, and maybe especially from somewhere that is less familiar to the rich consumer world is actually an asset. If you can tell stories about that, then that's something that people would want to hear about.
Mhm.
So a very good session. And yeah, you'll see this on the website. I'll download it and put it on the website. So we'll keep it.
All right. Nice one. All right, you take it easy, Gav, and we'll catch up later on. Yeah?
Okay.
All right, nice one. I'm gonna leave now.
Okay, I'll switch off.
All right, then.
Yeah, take care.
See ya. Bye.